Welcome back to Revolution World Championship. This is the grand finals against PTM, who is the person I lost my only match this tournament to, which shot me down to losers. So I will need to win 2 matches. Do weirdly get the play, which is kind of funny. Because I'm calling for losers, I need to win two matches, but I do get the play. So, what is this hand? This hand is okay, I guess. Huh. Like I have, like it's a draw. I do have Glana. Like I do question kind of how good my 6 can reasonably be. And like being on the play does help this hand a lot. So having 1-drop isn't as important. So I think I'm gonna keep this. It is maybe a bit on the sketchier side, but I think just mulliganing seems greedy. And it is mulliganing, which does make the shadow entity a bit nicer. And looks like we're good to go. Okay, Patisserie turn 1 is fine. Much better than Poisoner minion turn 1. Harbinger, yeah, not great, but it's fine. It does push my Glana a bit, which is marginally annoying. Also, we'll have a choice of whether to just lay Glana next to a Shadow Identity, tap New Divide. Sniller Swamp is not great. Huh. So I know my opponent doesn't have any creatures. Probably. I think that's something I'm gonna argue for, because I think they would have played any creatures they had at the moment that aren't demon. So I'm gonna put them on a bunch of artifacts, and with that in mind, I think I Shattered Identity 4. I think I Shattered Identity 4 creature, hoping to hit a demon. Klana doesn't do all that much here. I was attacking in. So the thing with Shattered Identity is that opponent does get to choose. They have a tome that's like really bad, but if I'm playing a bunch of artifacts, this doesn't really work either way. So I think I am just going creature here and trying to hit a demon. Oh, what? Okay then. That's what? How'd you keep that, huh? You keep 5 lands and a Harbinger? I mean, huh? I'm struggling to even like find an argument for this. This seems like you need to find specifically a tome. I mean, I guess my draw is bad enough that Beldar beats me, but like really not sure about this keep for my opponent. Like maybe I guess though, I mean triple patisserie does get them a lot of life. And my deck doesn't win too fast, but like I'm just kind of surprised. I guess I just go Swingus Gone, Mercult. Obviously, the strategy is pretty unlikely to hit anything. Would just be fishing for Demon. Mercult does help add some pressure. Also does have lifelink, so next turn I can go like Lana -2 Glana on the Harbinger, and then swing in, gain 4 life, and that will indulge Glana, so she'll be up at 2 loyalty again for potential Demon next turn. Opponent didn't end up cracking any foods on my instep, which I guess is fair. I decided to play Swamp instead of another Patisserie, which I don't think I can take too much from that. Looks like this might be a Bell Tower, or a Demon, I guess. Looks like they did top deck the Demon, which I think this is like best case scenario for me, to be honest. Where they just like have a Demon and that's like it. Because it makes my Glana pretty active. Oh, okay, so I do a Fatal Flaw. How do I want to approach this? So I know they have, pretty sure I'm tracking their hand correctly, and they do have double Swamp Patisserie. So I could go Alter Glana, Glana kills Demon attack. They probably block Mercult, I imagine. And then Shadow Identity the Harbinger. Or I could go Glana, Fatal Flaw the Demon, Glana the Harbinger. I think I'm inclined just to go Glana, kill the demon, and then Identity the Harbinger, just to make a better use of my resources. Try and put them on as little counterplay as possible. Yep, they block Mercult. I think there was some other lines there with attack with Mercult and like offering a trade, kind of. I don't think those lines are that worthwhile. And they just do another land. So if they draw a creature here, then I can Glana to activate Mercult. Otherwise I have, yes, otherwise or in addition, I do have Cracking the Altar. Crony, They do get the crack on Patisserie, which is a nice play from them. Yeah, yeah, but good on them to hold Patisserie. Just passes back, double checking they don't have any instant speed interaction whatsoever, so I'm free to do as I please. Another Fatal Flaw is not great. Guess I'm always just going Poison Sack also here. See if I can hit something relevant. Shade is not relevant. Don't have enough permanent types to do anything, so I'll just swing in. If I had 2 more cards in graveyard, then I could Scorn to trigger Mokalt. Good to minus Glana, since I'll get the Indulge trigger. And I think that means it's probably game. I guess I have 2 undowns because the crony, but I can't imagine they're drawing very live here. Like, do they have Cardboard Box's main deck? They do have Cardboard Box's main deck, so I mean, maybe there's like lines with Bell Tower into Cardboard Box, I guess. Yeah, there's a Bell Tower. They are Desperation drawing. Yep, and Soldier's Gear. I can't play anything here. Let's see. Should have. Yeah, there's no point. Do I have a Fatal Fall my Poisoner? I guess. Fatal Fall Poisoner, Trigger Scorn. I mean, I can also just wait on that because it's 10 and whatever. Would be maybe a stylish play, I guess. But I think this is. I just hate these, like, well, I have lethal, but like, I need to actually like do it kind of situations. Because I just need to do 1 damage to my opponent, which I can do in a couple ways. I guess the easiest way is just to go alter. I guess sack the alter Glana, one of my own things, Scorn, and then that triggers the Mercult, and I can do plenty of damage. There's a Scorn, Glana to 0, and that's the game. I had another couple lines there with like minion and then fatal for my own things. But like whatever. Chat until I started out. I don't think I liked my Cyber plan last time I played this matchup, which I think involved taking out or keeping in some scones. Do like Fatal Fall, do like Ambush, do like Smash, do like Nixilis, do want bans. I think I took out my Raise Rampages last time. I don't know if I like that. Hmm. I think I do want all these cards out. Um, Smirk? Is Smirk good here? Like, I can't get that low on threats, is the thing. I'm fine signing at least 1 Glana. I think I want all my lands. Huh. Raise Rampage. I think I'm fine signing up Minion because I have Massacre. This does make me pretty threat light in general, but I mean, I do have Nixilis at least as a threat. Ban should do a decent amount too. And I don't think being threat light is too much of a concern because I don't think I actually slowed down. I guess I'm saying minions. And Scorn isn't that fast of a threat. Where like on the draw, I'm definitely mulliganing that hand I kept game 1. Like maybe there's an argument for a minion over Alihana, but getting an Alihana in play in turn 2 is pretty important. So let's go with this. Glana. I think Glana is better than Smirk. 3 Glana, 4 Glana. Trying multiple Glana is kind of bad. Glana does apply pressure. I think I'm willing to say Glana is better than Smirk. And I think I'm good to run with this. My opponent did slide in a bunch. Smirk, is Smirk better than Minion? Smirk might be better than Minion. So I guess I can do something like this. Now my opponent did slide into a more mid-rangey plan in the second game the last time I played, so I think this is probably about as good as a configuration as I'm getting. So let's go with this. Turn 1 Ambush, turn 2 Alihana, turn 3 Romantic is alright. I feel like this is in a hand you have a mulligan. It's again not fantastic, but I mean, the draw, I do have a fair amount of draws that make this hand really good. Turn 2 Alihana's hard to turn down. Yeah, I think I'll keep this. Invite untapped, so this is probably a poison or something. Harbinger. Harbinger is not exactly what I want to see. Another romantic. I would very much so like to get a target for this Fatal Flaw. Oh, not Fatal Flaw, Ambush. because I do kind of want to trade off cards in this matchup, and I won't get a chance to play the ambush till pretty late on. Yeah, shard is not what I want to see. I guess I could have actually ambushed the Harbinger to mess up the scry. Yeah, I probably should have done that. But a bit late now. Yeah, I didn't notice fast enough that they topped both the cards. So it's possible that they're just trying to find lands, but I have to imagine they probably have a tome here. Yep, there's the tome. And I do not have a smash. I do have a romantic at least, which is something. I mean, two romantics is pretty good at putting down some pressure. But if they do have demon here, I do kind of just lose. It's my trigger, so kind of on me to remember it. Not a big a deal. It happens in many phases instead of upkeep though. So definitely not liking my spot here. Basically any spot that my opponent untaps with a tome, I do not like. I don't even have an answer to the demon. Be attacking first, which might just be them sequencing properly, or it might be them not having that much. Hopefully it's the latter. Because if they just have two artifacts here, oh, this and one more. Oh, they're equipping? Oh, they're sacking, okay. Yes, looking pretty dead here. I can attack him for like, I'm only attacking him for 4. So I do kind of need to find an answer demon. That is, maybe they can definitely go off pretty hard here. So, might not be good enough regardless. Yep, yep, yep. And probably considering immediately when I see a bell tower, arguably could concede now, but probably worth sticking it out at least. Yep. Doesn't look like they have a bell tower yet. Um, Still could probably concede at this point. Yeah, I mean, Minion's basically a bell tower. Now I need to track stuff. The horror. Another tome. They found the bell tower. There we go. So on to game 3. Yeah. The only other thing I could have done differently there is mulligan more. But I mean, turn 2 Alihana, turn 3 romantic with a 1-drop is like, well, it doesn't really feel like a mulligan kind of hand. I guess I can reconsider my plan on the play. Because minions do get better on the play, at least somewhat. I mean, so does smoke. Like, like this matchup's just very weird because like that last game, I mean, the answer was to Morgan hard for what, ban or smash, I guess. But the thing is that that doesn't really work if they just like go play Bell Tower on turn 4. I mean, I guess maybe it works, but like I basically need to hit one of those cards on 6 because I think functionally speaking, I probably lose if I go to 5. Just so I don't have enough resources to actually win. Maybe that's wrong, just with how I've sideboarded, but it feels like that's the case, because I do need a fair amount of cards to actually, like, pressure my opponent, and I need at least 2 answers to stop what they're doing. Those being an answer to Tome and an answer to Demon. Arguably an answer to Poisoner, too. And sometimes, like, Tome plus Bell Tower, right? Opponent's on 4 Bell Tower, yeah. So, I mean, it's not kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place a little bit. I mean, I guess I can argue for, like, going down a flaw and going up a deep minion. That's something I'm okay with on the play. Ambush. I think I'm okay with that. I think ambush is better than flaw. I think there's more ways for me to pressure poisoner. Flaw does kill poisoner, so let's see if we can finally draw a ban here. I cannot, apparently. Oh, and now I'm stuck with another reasonable hand. Like, how do I get all these reasonable hands? Like, I guess in this case I do have at least one of my sideboard cards with Nixless, which is good. That probably makes the hand to keep. 10 to Alihana plus Nixless. On the play, I have like 2 draws to find something for turn 3, maybe probably Fatal Flaw is good enough. Yeah, I guess I'll keep this. Again, don't love it. Would prefer some more sideboard cards. Would prefer another threat, but can't have it all, so keeping 7 on the play seems like a decent idea. One is thinking on the 7. I suppose I do, funnily enough, have a Nixless -2 on Alihanna and then raise Alihanna. It's kind of a funny line. They do keep it up to think about it for a while. And they're on 7, so we're good to start. Tap New Divide is sounds good to me. Do very fortunately find a 3-drop. Makes his hand a bit better. We'll need to find a land in the next 2 draws to actually drop Nixless, but as far as getting lucky goes, that's not too hard. 2-drop, Soldier's Gear. Sure. This does let them demon next turn. They only have 1 black source, so they can't. I don't think they can go off too hard. In addition, do find a land. I think I do always just play Romantic here. And now should be. I think I feel relatively favored here. Even if they drop a tome, I'm feeling okay here. Just because the next list does make the tome much less scary. I think they would probably need some sequence of like, I don't even know. I mean, I guess a demon is the worst thing for me here, which they can't play because they played another patisserie. Because it'd be force me to Fatal Flaw. But I guess it does give me another attack through, so not the end of the world. They do have a ton of resources though, so yeah, I was considering for a moment though if they played Demon to go Nixless -2 to kill the Demon, just get Nixless in play. But I think that's probably just not worthwhile compared to just going New Divide, Fatal Flaw, and then Rampage for a couple points of damage. Yeah. We'll see if they sack the food here too. Don't have any mana. They don't have any mana floating. They do have another Soldier's Gear, which means they can potentially play Bell Tower here, which would be bad. Or Tome. Tome would also be bad. Because I can very much so not just go Nixless -1 into the face of a demon. So hopefully they just pass back. Okay, another shard. That gives them a black source. So now if they have a poisoner, they can start going off auto. Okay, thank god they just pass back. They don't have any instants in the sideboard either, so I'm in the clear here. Oh, there's a ban. Okay. I guess that makes this easier, so I go New Divide, fetch a mountain in case I want to double Rampage next turn, and then go Fatal Flaw on the Demon, and then ban on Demon. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's too much else to say here for 7. Yeah. Grab a mountain in case of double Rampage, and I think I do always play ban here. Don't think I'm concerned about Bell Tower here. I guess I'm always attacking. Bell Tower at 6. Yeah, let's just play ban on. This should always name demon, right? I suppose if they have Glani, and no, Glana's fine because of Raise plus Rampage. Masker, sure. Harbinger's fine. So I guess I go. Can I just raise Rampage Alihanna still? Because that will force that will let me Alihanna, whatchamacallit. I think so. I don't think I'd do it twice, because doing twice doesn't actually accomplish anything. And does it matter whether I play this New Divide? I guess I should. No, they can't pay for Alihanna. So Tome or Bell Tower? I guess I just say Bell Tower, right? Because that means that they need a answer to Alihanna. Also, Bell Tower is really funny with Nixless. Yep, and they go Tome. And then might as well not give them an extra draw here. And might as well play Tears of Ignia. Then pass back. I don't quite have lethal here, but pretty sure they have no outs here. There's just Spell Tower twice kills them, even if they find a Glana to answer the Nixless. And we're on to match 2. I think I forgot to be on the play twice, which is kind of funny. Oh boy, yeah, this is looking like a mulligan. This is another one of those mediocre hands, but mediocre on the bad side, rather than on the good side. Because 10-2 Espionage, 10-3 Glana is not gonna win very many games. Okay, this is more of a hand. Double Fields isn't great, but I do have basically everything else I could want in this matchup. Imagine I'm bottoming Ray's Rampage here, because they don't have any removal main board. Pretty sure this is always a keep. Like, the mana situation isn't great, but going 5 seems much worse. Okay, I do get Poisoner. Not great, but at least it's the first time they've had it in 4 games, which is something. Swamp is a good draw. Playing Alihana here out here to be mana efficient. Poisoner blocking Alihana is a bit annoying. Does recall a lot of my damage. Do at least have a Fatal Flaw for potential demon. And because I'm on the play, I should be fast enough to put down some pressure too. I do have a really scary start. I just don't attack with Poisoner. God. So normally I'd be inclined to just go Espionage Poisoner, but that attack with Poisoner is tipping me off that they probably have Demon, and I probably shouldn't let Poisoner live. Um, so I like, hmm, like I am giving up my Demon answer to kill Poisoner, but just preventing them from playing Demon seems like a pretty high priority. Like, if I'm the other alternative, thinking that they have Demon in hand, would be to just go Poisoner, hold up Fatal Flaw, and that just seems worse, I think. So I think I am gonna go just Fatal Flaw plus Poisoner here. I do get a fair bit going with Espionage on the following turn, but I think my odds are probably better if I kill Poisoner here with Flaw and then try to find another answer to Demon. And if they just have Tome, then then I guess it's even better that I killed it Poisoner. So Demon is harder to cast. This is definitely something that could be wrong if I had more matchup knowledge, but I think I'm gonna do this. Definitely doesn't feel great though. And I mean, same time, Poisoner does also brick wall all my attacks. Yep, there's a tome. Minion. I think I always sequence this Poisoner, Espionage, and then sack Poisoner. I don't think Minion gets into that line at all. Yeah, because the extra rat seems way more valuable than the single minion trigger. Starts a swamp. I guess I could technically sack the Alihana here, but I don't think that's worthwhile. I think I'll just pass back. Finding Glana is good though, because if they don't go off particularly hard, so they do have a demon, but they don't go off especially hard, then Glana does Fashion 2 clean up the game. Suppose if I was really desperate, I could have sacked Alihana first. So Alihana would be 2 rats here. I think Alihana's worth more than 2 rats. Does give me an extra discard, but like at this point they have a tome, so it doesn't matter. I have plenty of Oz discard. I already did find the Glana, though maybe it was a consideration before I sacked, because obviously if sacking for 1 rat is definitely not worthwhile. There's Poisoner. They don't have a second black source, but they do have a land drop left. And there's a rat. Oh, there's Nuvide, which makes a rat. So Demon here is probably GG. Yeah, and looks like they're stacking up stuff. They are out of black sources at least, though that's not much of a consolation. And I do at least have Glonon Demon and a decent aggressive board state. But if they do have enough, they do go off hard enough here, I do die. I have a bell tower or something. But not like, it's not, I don't think it's a trivial place for them to go off, but they're probably favored to have the resources to go off here, like substantially, or substantially enough to win the game, that is. Oh, pass back. What? Okay then. Am I missing something? No, I mean, they still don't have any instant speed stuff. And I just have lethal, right? Lana kill demon, they get 5. Swing at everything, poisoner blocks Alihana, they take 6. Yeah. Yeah, and they trust that I find it, so yeah. I mean, I did I'm very surprised I won. My opponent okay, my opponent definitely had a bit of a run this tournament. They didn't win a single game one. I suppose they haven't played that many matches. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 6th match. So it's still incredibly unlucky. That's like 1 in 64, even assuming 50-50 win rate. But let's get back to sideboarding. Do 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 do. Bang comes in, flaw, smash, ambush, and then I was cutting some random stuff. which is on the draw this time. Yeah, I don't know. These three cards I struggle with. I think I do want a minion cut. I guess Iguana on the draw is a bit on the slow side, so Smoke. I guess maybe minion over Smoke on the draw. You might be able to tell that I don't really know the best way to sideboard in this matchup. Yeah, I'll go with this. I think last time I had less minions in, but I do know that they're bringing Masker. I'll do that. Why not? Maybe the Smoke will bring me victory. Always good to have a cat in your back pocket. Don't actually do that. Cats in your back pocket are not fun, but maybe Smoke's fun. Who knows? Uh, this is thoroughly mediocre. No one drop. I did keep in 3 minions, right? Yeah, 3 minions. Espionage doesn't really do anything here. Flaw is really slow here. Alejandro's putting pressure. Nicholas might not even come down turn 4. So I'll mulligan this. There's a ban, which what are you looking up? Flaw. What? So I want all 5 of these spells. I just need to figure which one I want the least. I guess it's Flaw because I'm going turn 2 ban on Demon. So Flaw only kills Poisoner, which it's just kind of whatever at. By Harbinger, Lana's not a bad draw. Does swing in with Harbinger, which is somewhat interesting. What is the 2-drop? Soldier's Gear, sure. Poisoner, I would like to hit a land at some point. Coven is +1/+1. I do always go ban here. Just trick on artifacts. I will be saying demon here. I think this is my first turn 2 ban against and this is the first turn 2 ban against Mono Black Storm I've had. And I play against, this is my 4th match against Mono Black Storm. So we're treading into unknown territories because I don't know how this matchup works. If I if they don't have a demon available. I know they can play without demon, but I have to imagine it's not super pretty. So now I have the choice of minion poisoner or just smirk. Minion poisoner is a good amount of damage. I do kind of want to hit my last line drop, but I think I want to pressure here. I don't really want to leave them time to get bell tower and stuff up. The smirk is a pretty low play in general. This does play into Massacre a little bit, but I have Raise Rampage, so that's not really an issue. Could even just Rampage on the following turn, to be completely honest. Another tome, okay. Kind of scary. Is a lot of stuff. Is just straight up attacking, which is somewhat interesting. I'd really love to hit a land there for Glana to clear this minion and put them to 5. They did whiff on their land drop, so they could have built could have a bell tower. I think I want to set up Alihana here, and I don't think I attack with the minions. Yeah, I think I just go attack the poisoner Alihana, pass. Just try and maximize the pressure on the electro. Smoke finding me lands is nice, but Smoke also doesn't do any damage. And I just need 1 more land for this Guana. A Shard is a lot of resources. That's 2 1/1s and 3 draws. Does mean that they didn't find a 4th land, I think. I think I can say that. I'm continually shocked they attack with this Harbinger. Like, do you think my deck total really matters here? Whereas, could definitely matter for them. Do you find the new divide? Yeah, they also just didn't find a 4th iron juice. I don't have lethal here or anything, right? Nothing odd going on. I go, Rampage. I go new divide, crack, Rampage. Then I have 5 attack with Menace. Oh, that's just lethal, right? Hold on. Am I miscounting this? Am I 1 off here? Let's actually put it on the board. So if I raise Rampage here, and I have 5 attackers with Menace, they block. Worst case scenario for me, I guess they double block both the minions and they take 6, and then Alihana is throwing lethal. If they triple block Alihana, double block one of the minions, they take 6. And I can raise the Alihana, put them to 1. So yeah. And they're getting massively punished for attacking with this Harbinger here. Double block minion, double block minion. And then I think I always raise the minion? I think so, yeah. Because that does remove some lines. I don't think it ends up mattering, but I don't think there's that great of odds for me to get through again. So maybe this is a mistake because of Massacre, but I do have a Alihana trigger that is going through, so they do have Massacre, which they do. Then I can just take that. And taking Massacre is important here because it shows that Glana has a target. Or did they just forget to play land? Hold on. Maybe missing something here. Yeah, so I guess raising was a mistake there, but one that's pretty hard to punish. And they top deck a minion. I guess maybe it was a mistake, because now Glana is Xaxes. Oh, it's not Xaxes anymore. Okay, with the turn back, new divide. Same point in playing that new divide out? I don't think so. I can just play it tapped. Heal the minion, put them to 1, and then I can, what? So, I guess the game definitely isn't quite over. I guess I'm taking Bell Tower to force a Glana on the Alihana. I don't think the rats achieve anything, so I'll play a new divide tapped. Yeah, take the Bell Tower, force the Glana on the Alihana, and then the minion should win with Smirk, I think is the line I'm taking. Let me just double check this. Bell Tower, take Glana instead, then Bell Tower's played? Is Bell Tower played? Do I always beat a Bell Tower? I guess I'm not doing anything this turn, so I can just check their hand again, which should be the same. Yeah. I guess I'm only really worried about Massacre, right? And that follow-up's only bad if they have Bell Tower? But it's particularly bad if they have Bell Tower in play. Gives me less draws. So I think I say Bell Tower force Galana on Alihana. They don't have anything else, right? So then they need to draw a minion. God, I hate these spots. Then they take Glana and they draw a Massacre, then I lose. I probably lose. If I take Glana and they draw a Massacre, then I lose. If I take Bell Tower, do I have less outs? Um yeah, I'm just gonna take Bell Tower. Also that's wrong, but it feels very similar. Because it's like minion, and that puts me like not the absolute worst spot versus Massacre, but Massacre puts me in pretty bad spot, but it's less likely. And I found Poisoner, so I should be in the clear here. Oh wait, yeah, they can't kill minion because otherwise Alihana plays Bell Tower and they die. And now I just need one last spell, which funnily enough happens to be the cat that I left in my back pocket. Oh, what they, I don't know what Epid's talking about. Huh? They need to gain a life. Oh, yeah, definitely not, not fun playing a combo deck for 6 rounds if you don't want to play the combo deck. I guess I'm jumping into post game, so I'll pause the recording here. Well, actually, I guess I can. I guess I'll stop the recording here. I'll pause it and see if we come back to it. So, okay, so back after jumping into the post game. What do I want to do here? I want to go over the games a bit. Game one, opponent kept a pretty sketchy 5 lands, and then drew a bunch of lands. Granted, my hand wasn't too good, so with a bit better draws, they definitely could have won this. Arguably, my hand was a mulligan, but I mean, looking back at this, I think I'd probably tend towards mulligan at this. Looking at it again, probably could have actually kept this Tunnel Monument, Scry 2, Shot on 2. It's kind of sketchy, but it seems maybe better than the 6. Was game 2 game 2 they played Tome 1, 3, and next return R2. And then the ambush was dead too, which wasn't great. Don't think there's too much to say about this game, just kind of draws didn't line up. And Mulligan more, but I mentioned that I didn't really like that. Game 3, Game 3 I just kind of had it. Yeah, Game 3 just kind of had it all. they went for a pretty fast demon. The mana situation was a bit on the awkward side. The demon without tome is not as scary. And then they decided not to play Bell Tower to get a Massacre next turn, which is fair. Was this? Oh no, they didn't miss a line drop here. And then they just kind of get low enough that I can ping them down. Alicana gets the Bell Tower, and then Nicholas cleans up pretty cleanly. Good to be in the play again, and I find... Oh no, this was the game that they just whiffed pretty hard. How many draws did they whiff on? One. Yeah, so they whiffed on the draw step, so 1, 2, 5. Yeah, that's just kind of unlucky on my opponent's side. And then I barely get the lethal blow down. But I did catch that, though my opponent did respect me enough to concede before I put it through. And then we have the game 3 where my opponent got really punished for attacking with Harbinger on this turn. I even top deck the New Divide. So top deck New Divide, Rampage, puts them down to 2, which puts them exactly in range of Alicana. Couldn't even triple block it because I got the raise on it. So yeah, just kind of really minor error there. Attacking on this turn specifically, because at this point you do feel pretty safe. With 5 blockers to 4 attackers, and like the minions don't really want to attack. They get pretty rewarded for playing out their Alicana instead of the Smirk. I definitely could have kept the Harbinger back a couple of times. Attacking here does feel a little bit, like even this early on, does feel a little bit disrespectful, just because like you are running into Romantic. But Crown God ban on Demon gets the, if somewhat barely, I think at the end of the game here, like even my opponent had 2 more life, like kept the Harbinger back, then 2 more life, they'd have a bunch more tokens, and I'd definitely be pretty far on the back foot. Ali Haddon would be taking stuff, Bell Tower would be coming down, I would need to be top decking like Smash the Smithereens to even have a chance. So yeah, that one really minor error on my opponent's part, really punishing them. Also pretty lucky to hit 2 demons in their hand. Yeah, obviously pretty happy I did get the W here. I need to get past 2 matches against this deck is definitely pretty exhausting. 2 matches against any deck in this format is pretty exhausting. Because I definitely do feel like I have to work for my wins a lot of times. Though mainly these games weren't too complex. Definitely had a lot of more stressful games prior in the tournament. So definitely happy there wasn't some 40-50 minute long slugfest early on. That would definitely have been pretty exhausting. I guess I can talk my deck a little bit. I guess it's better to do like this. Pretty happy with my deck choice. I think this might be the most tuned deck I've made in any custom format. Like I've made a lot of decks in MSCM, but I think just with the card pool and like general diversity of threats in MSCM, it's really hard to make something that's like really tuned. And like this deck does definitely have some minor things that I think I'd change. But whether that's just a meta call or slash like what I actually played against or like actually correct, I don't know. So like for example, Omdeat Shade, I sat out like most games. Might be better versus like aggro and such. Possible I'm just not aggressive enough for it to make sure I get the consistent crystallize on turn 3. So like shifting a shade to romantic might have been an idea. They probably don't want all 4 romantics. Or just looking for more 1 and 2 drops for Rage Rampage, or even just a 3rd Rage Rampage. Because Rage Rampage was pretty exceptional, basically every time I drew it. The Rampage mode was definitely more relevant than I expected it to be. Giving haste is really good on a card that has like such an efficient other side. Even if you don't expect to give haste, it's still really good. Mercult, I mean, I guess it did do stuff in the first game of this match, but first game of the first match of this bigger match, I guess. But I think I started out basically every other game. Kept doing against Big Red, but didn't seem exceptional against Big Red just because Fear Hellion kind of kills it. So does Ferocious Flame, which is not great for a 4-drop you're putting a lot of hopes onto. did seem pretty absurd when the ability gave haste, but obviously doesn't anymore. I do like this having this kind of slot where there's just a slammable 4-drop, because I think that wins a lot of games in general. Obviously coming from MSCM, that's Infectious Ego. And Mercult is not close to Infectious Ego, but same stat line. And Life ability does end the game reasonably fast. Scorn is just kind of an insane card. Smirk is pretty good. I think the Shades and the Mercult are the only things I'm like disappointed in. Did like the one of Shattered into the main. Drawing exactly one is always enough or more than enough. I did cast Reform Purpose a couple times, which was not something I expected to be doing. Like the random Grave Hate is nice. I don't think that came up, but it could have been relevant. And it just having a nice big body also was potentially relevant. Though again, I don't think it ended up mattering. Though again, definitely could have. And then my sideboard, I mentioned that as far as tuning goes, this is one of the better decks I've made in custom Magic. And I think a lot of that is just that the sideboard you can leave things out because you know the format's small. So the obvious thing would be that this doesn't have Grave Hate, for instance. I just as far as I'm aware, there's not any graveyard decks, so I can just ignore it. So I can fit in stuff like this Fatal Flaw, just to have a little bit more removal. Don't need to rely on Glana as much for high end. Can fit a bunch of Crown God bands for like basically one matchup. Granted, I did play that matchup 4 times, so clearly worthwhile. But just in general, these are basically only for that matchup. Can run some excess like card advantage, more threats. But just having those like 2 to 3 slots that I don't need to devote to Grave Hate or any kind of random combo deck is pretty nice. Oh yeah, Espionage was of course great. Not much else to say on it. Probably didn't use it to its full potential because you can actually sacrifice 2 things to it in a single combat step, which I never did. Might have been able to use it a bit more had I been like more conscious of that. Maybe 1 or 2 situations. But generally 6 life is really expensive, so did me and my opponents had to play around it, which was nice. But yeah, Bad Moon is actually a pretty good card in general. So like Honor of the Pure is a like pretty printable modern card. Where that's a card you know will probably see play, and Bad Moon is probably the same, obviously different colors. But the ability is really nasty. Poisoner is pretty overloaded in terms of what it can do. A lot of that is just that sacrificing itself gives you a rat, which I mean, with Espionage is a bit nuts. Obviously works well in multiples, partly because of that. I think that happened in 4th game. I'm gonna guess it was the 4th game. Espionage also works well with Romantic. That came up in my first match of the tournament. Won me that game. Was also really brutal. Was a 1-outer. But yeah, more on Poisoner. I think I straight up never activated the activated ability. A few times that like was like vaguely a consideration, but I think I just like attacked instead. But it's just such a good general stat line, gives so much stuff. I mean, really goes. I mean, I was mentioning that sacrificing itself goes nuts with Espionage, but of course, just in general, having a that thing that produces things, if you're just triggering off lands, which lands and sacrificing itself are definitely the main points I'd go, is this card really okay? But that makes Espionage draws really fast. I've definitely looked at some of my board states on turn 3 or turn 4 and been like, wow, this is really, really good. And all of that is, and basically every time that's happening is because I have Poison and Espionage. And even just Poison itself being a 2/3 death touch with Espionage out is really hard to fight through. And even if all that isn't the case and you don't have an Espionage, it's still a 1/2 death touch. Yeah, this card does a lot. And of course, my opponent, and of course, I gave a lot of respect to it in my opponent's deck with my Black Storm, because it does enable Demon to go off very easily. So a certain amount of it being strong is just the support pieces to it being really, really good. I mean, Espionage does not really, like, again, Bad Moon is not a bad card. Perfectly playable. but this has an ability that happens to work really well with Poisoner. Then Demon has a really is obviously great with Poisoner. Tome is obviously great with Poisoner. So I'm not going to put all the blame on Poisoner, all the praise on it. But I would say that it's sacrificing itself on lands are a bit like, well, was this actually intended or was this an oversight? It does also have some random things like Crystallize with the Conduit Shade, Mines of Ignia making treasures. So that's pretty minor. Grand scheme of things. Minion was good filler. I think Minion did kind of, at least somewhat confirm what I thought about this format coming out of the last GP, which was that it is actually a turn one format if you're trying to be proactive. Like, we're just kind of the aggro decks are really fast and really nasty. And the control decks have a ton of Wrath. Mid-range decks can play Wrath too. I mean, I'm playing Wrath here, just to contest more aggressive decks than I am. Like, decks can have really fast draws too, and if you're not fast enough, you'll just die to a bell tower, which is kind of hard to punish because you can't play into Wrath so much. So you need to find a way to either get around the Wrath, which I guess is Planeswalkers, though there's not that many Planeswalkers in the format. Like, Nixus is pretty good at dealing with bell tower, at least. But that's, again, sideboard answer comes out after the bell tower, if you're on the draw. And your opponent is still drawing cards, so if you haven't put enough pressure, it's not great. So actually starting on turn one makes a lot of those things a lot more reasonable. Makes a lot of the aggro starts more reasonable to deal with. Makes the control payoffs a lot more reasonable to deal with. Makes the Wrath possible to go under or possible to pressure them out of your opponent, so they can't greed a Wrath, delaying it. And like even then, it's like, well, you obviously can't go under stuff on the draw very often, depending on your Wrath, of course. 4-mana ones you can kind of, 3-mana ones you just can't. And like then you also have stuff like Odd Aesthetic and Hugo's Handiwork. I think it's Handiwork, not Masterwork. And like, well, are you really able to go under those? I don't know. Like I think despite Odd Aesthetic seeing a ton of play, it's decks I'm seeing it in might even mean the deck cards like unexplored. Like I don't think there's any deck that I've seen that plays Aesthetic and Bell Tower, and that's potentially a really nasty combination. And yeah, well, can you go into that? Like go on and like in this case, I kind of can. I think a lot of my games did kind of show stuff like that, even games from this match. Well, like, yeah, I can go 1-drop, 2-drop, Glen on 3, -2, and that is a lot of pressure, and that will get past a Aesthetic or a Poisoner or a Harbinger or play against so many decks is stupid, or a Duelist or whatever. But if you're not starting turn one, then well, your 2-drop comes down, and you're putting a lot of hopes on that 2-drop. Ali Hanna does remedy that a little bit, because Ali Hanna is a really, really fast clock. Doesn't feel like it, but Ali Hanna does a ridiculous amount of damage. Like for reference, Ali Hanna is at the time most 2-drops have gotten a chance to swing once. Ali Hanna has done 4 damage, which is a lot because Ali Hanna gets the first pain trigger and then the swing and then the next pain trigger as well, which is 2 damage, and then past that, and then so you're already 1 or 2 damage up on other aggressive threats, and then it gets better from there because now Ali Hanna is functionally a 4-power 2-drop that doesn't need attack. You can. I've been increasingly convinced Ali Hanna is just kind of busted. Though you can obviously play around in some ways. Because obviously you can show your opponent a hand of lands. But that doesn't happen too often. 1-3 seems like a good stat line in this format in general. Part of it is also that I'm playing Espionage, so that works out too. But Ali Hanna does seem to be one of the few 2-drops that can actually snowball particularly hard in terms of damage to actually put enough pressure down, which does make me less unhappy with only having 8 1-drops to play, because I was pretty unhappy with the green aggro deck I was playing last GP. This one, yeah, where I have 8 1-drops, but my 2-drops are much worse than Ali Hanna at dealing damage. Complained about Lebed a lot, particular. The thing is that in this deck, if you miss a 2-drop, if you miss your 1-drop and you're on the draw, you feel abysmal. And admittedly, part of this was also that Thorngrafter had a lot of really bad matchups. It is a really incredibly nasty card, but not a ton of creature decks. I mean, I played against one matchup where creature combat was relevant, 2 creature decks in total, entire World Championship. One of that was just big red, where I think most combat was just chomping. So yeah, I do kind of still maintain that this is kind of a turn one format where just the power level of the threats are the higher end, and the tools the decks going bigger have to deal with decks that aren't going bigger are pretty immense. I mean, there's like Let Them Eat Cake, which is just a really good card. If for some reason people don't like playing this, I don't know if that's just a meta call they made, but like, yeah, this is just a really good card. Obviously, it doesn't hit everything. It is Saucy Speed, but that doesn't really matter when it's 1 mana. It even hits Planeswalkers. I mean, food doesn't really matter particularly much, even XLs. But yeah, people don't play that very much, which, I mean, I guess maybe is a better call. It is also possible that my view of the format is altered a bit by the matchups I've had. It's like looking at the rest of the bracket. I mean, you have top bracket, you have green, white aggro. You have mono black storm, which I guess whatever. You have red green stompy. You have green white mid range. You have green white aggro. You have a really greedy control deck. And you have red white aggro. So that's mostly creature based decks, is my side of the bracket. Maybe the creature decks were just eliminated, because you do actually have a fair amount of them. I mean, the side of the bracket PTM was on before we met up in the winners matchup, had 3 creature decks. So maybe just skewed on matchups a little bit. Yeah, but it did feel like I don't think I ever felt that I was that playing 1-drops like hurt me. I always had plenty of resources. Well, that is just like Smirk being good, and Scond having activated ability, and Espionage drawing cards, and Shadow and Raise Rampage having a lot of value. So maybe it's just how this deck is built that's not a problem. But and that's maybe part of the reason I played this deck as opposed to trying to play other decks. Because I did kind of look at the 1-drops in the format and go, well, there's not that many that are great. At the end of the last GP, but I'm like, oh well, duplicates is okay, I guess. I mean, maybe there's something there. Maybe you can abuse duplicates in some way. I do think this is actually a good card. Mind you, I joked about Turbo Cats before the championship started, and that was entirely a joke. There are a good amount of good cats. I mean, there's like Fencing Master. Fencing Master's good, though. Whether it wins by itself, does require a bit of investment. So if you play Fencing Master 1 and then you play 2-drop and they kill the 2-drop, if they kill your 2-drop, well, not as self-sufficient as Minion or Poisoner. Let's see. Not going to dwell on that too much. Did it at the end of my oh God, what was the last GP? I don't remember. The last GP. Went over RAS and 1-drops and stuff. That those VODs should still be available. As I could mention, like Lucille. I think one of my opponents was surprised I wasn't playing this card. They're like, 5 mana is just so expensive. And maybe that's just the format where you say, oh no, I'm going up in the curve, and I'm playing these cards to contest the high-end decks. I am like I want to play Battlecruiser Magic because there is a ton of really nasty high-end cards. And like, yeah, I'll play Lucille, and yeah, if you don't answer Lucille, she's gonna obliterate you. At the same time, she costs 5 mana, so if she's stuck in your hand, doesn't do much. That's a very chumpable, but that's a small thing. I mean, there's just so many like crazy fire draw Fury Call Hellion. I played in my first GP, and that card's insane. I mean, one of my opponents played Military, which, like, if you don't answer this, yeah, it will kill you. Fortunately, did get out of that matchup alive. That was definitely one of my scarier ones. I mean, like, approaching greatness, like, this is a huge payoff for a fast elf deck. Like, I mentioned Ardent Aesthetic a lot, how this kind of plays into that kind of feeling that, yeah, you just play high-end. Bounty Smith is another one. Just kind of rattling off some names here. And like, that's not saying there's not any ways to go into it. I mean, Heroes Never Die is definitely and potentially very nasty. I don't know how consistent this is. If you're playing on 10-2, if you do get to play this on 10-2 and hit a 3-drop off the top, then it is pretty insane. I mean, and there are like, and if you do want to play aggressive decks, there are definitely tools. I mean, you could argue Symbol of Revolution is very good. You could argue that. You could argue for Symbol of the Revolution in basically any white deck, a similar vein to Minion, the Poisoner, I think. And then there's also Brave Ring Hero. There's which seems pretty popular as well. And there's what's the 2-drop? Yeah, there's this guy which goes out of Brave Ring Hero. So maybe you can build like that. I mean, there was a couple decks in the tournament that did do that, and this is a pretty scary one to punch, similar way to like Poison Espionage, maybe. And maybe that is just good enough to contest with the huge amount of really strong ways to get up to 5 mana and all the wraths and stuff. I'm not gonna speculate too hard about that because I don't think either of them went super far. When one of them went to top 6. Is this top 6? Hold on. Yeah, I mean, one of them made it top 6. I think there's someone else playing it too. Here's them both made it. One made it to top 6 and one made it to top 8. I guess above average. So maybe you do just need to find these kind of really powerful individual combinations to go under the wraths and stuff. That's still like kind of like adding on to my idea that this is a turn 1 format. It doesn't quite believe it's a turn 1 format. Because Amelie definitely don't need to play Brave Ring Hero in an aggressive deck necessarily. If you're able to do stuff like this with Treasury Pilferer. And there are some pretty nasty cards, like Viridian's really nasty, just in general. I didn't realize there was a haste gadget in here. But 3/3 haste that taxes for 1 is like, geez. And like Amelie, you don't need to play Unite the Clans in aggro, but it definitely lends itself towards more aggressive stuff. I don't know. It is also kind of hard to say that this is like what the format is, or if it's just what people are playing. That's a pretty existential question in MSEM. There's a lot of good decks in MSEM that just don't see any play. Whether like straight up win a GP and then fall off the map. Or I guess more commonly they come second in the GP, and then the deck that wins gets nerfed out of existence because it's doing something silly. And then the deck, then everyone forgets about it. Though that might be a couple of specific examples I'm thinking of. Well, what do I want to say anything else about the format? I guess there's a rotation coming. I don't I don't care what set is rotating out. I don't even know what sets in the format. Fair God. What's in this format? Or what's in the set? I don't remember seeing the set symbol very often. Oh, Feast of Crows, right? No Cult. No Cultivator, so that's another 1-drop. That's a 1-drop that's gonna be missing. That's another aggressive threat. Explore 2, Rexage, Home Gang, Ferocious Flame too. So yeah, a lot of similar number of good cards from here. I don't know if it changes this rotating out changes the format that significantly though. In comparison to all the cards I'm talking about, which I kind of like. Yeah. Yeah. Again, there's a certain amount that's like, well, maybe I just don't know enough. So again, I've only played like 25 games of this format, or not 25 games, about 25 matches, I think, of the format over the course of 4 tournaments. And it's kind of weird saying that like you can't do X or Y when I'm often doing X or Y and then winning. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if I'll continue playing Rev. I know that I think there's I know that I don't like playing the off meta GPs, so like the current one is Rev Eternal, which I don't especially care about. Yeah, I don't know. As far as like, I also don't know what set is coming out because Rev curators like to keep that quiet. So yeah, but I think at this point I'm just kind of ranting, not ranting, mumbling, going off different tangents, and like constantly undermining my points because due to relevant experience and just speculation as to like how these formats work. I don't know. I'd like to think that I'm at least not entirely unknowable about this kind of stuff. Well, like I can look at some cards and be like, yeah, those cards are pretty good. Looked at Alejandro and was like, yeah, this card seems pretty good. Mono, this card's pretty good. Espionage, yeah, this card's pretty good. Raise Rampage, yeah, this card seems pretty good. Don't remember the exact sequencing of I think I actually I made this deck actually pretty early on into the month. Let me check. Yeah, I submitted this actually on the 7th March. So that would have been before I was super aware of Poison and stuff, I think. I don't think Mono Black Storm was the GPI one. I think there's a similar thing happened with Raise Rampage where I did edit the deck to put it in over, I think, like something. I think it felt like a Fatal Flaw or something. It was like a Saturday Identity. And then people did mention it afterwards as well. I think that was the sequence of events. But I like to think that I at least know it's somewhat good. But yeah, I'm definitely mumbling at this point, so I'm going to stop the recording. Thanks for listening. This has been last round of the REV World Championship. Unfortunately, I did come away with the victory, which means I get some vague perks. I get to design a card, I think, which I'll figure out sometime. And I got all the glory. So yeah, thanks for listening.